It'll be good in there.
See how well this whole thing does.
Wow.
I'm so glad you got in.
Shit. I ended up having to do things this morning because I was going to be busy all day when you guys were doing this, you know.
Right.
So I got up at 5 and started working crazy, and I go, I just need to get to McDonald's.
It was fun.
So then I got there right at 8, and I'm like, oh, I just know Nathan's going to beat me. And I went, I beat him? How'd that happen?
We had a little misadventure coming in.
Oh.
We
You went
we
past
went
Saturn.
past it, yeah. I've never been this way before. What do you want me to do?
Oh, really?
That'll be nice. It's also really dark and really quiet in the room we're going to, so also does my call start.
Okay, now who do I bother about talking to Dish TV to get the HD feed on Dish TV? We have the education channel, and it just drives me nuts. And Dish TV, it's, well, no, call that. Yeah.
I don't know. Not asking. We put it out there. Anybody will take it. Well, let's put it out there. Yeah. We put our feet out there. Anybody will take it.
Thanks. That's the right thing.
Okay.
This is back.
All right, so I'm going to make this fast. For those of you who weren't
control.
on my bus, my name is Andrew. This is Lisa. Well, for those of you who were on my bus, that's Lisa. If you weren't on my bus, I'm Andrew. One more time, my bus, you can hear us again. I'm sure Lisa told you already. We're going to the space station flight controller first. Do not use flash. Take all the pictures you want. Do not use flash.
Does anybody have to take an elevator, or is everybody good with stairs? Everybody's good with stairs? All right, here we go.
One rule, y'all follow me. Don't let the door close. I wasn't locked.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm on a tour, but I gotta. Yeah. I gotta do that. Whatever it takes to do it.
Yes.
I think we have an easy lady.
Go right in.
I forgot it on time.
You got an extra tour in
Well, we were in
today.
Oh.
Lori, you guys go upstairs again. This is the old timers over there. When I first started, were 95. 95 was when I'm going to jump in.
Jump in line.
Take him out.
This is when I start getting jitters. It's time to go.
Oh, you've got one of those cameras that
Goes wide
takes it as
angle.
you go.
Yeah, I won't know what I get until after, but
Joe Lucas had one of those, and he wore it on his neck here, and he kept wearing it so he didn't have to do anything like that.
Still come in and have a seat wherever. No, we're going to be here for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What I meant was this room's not going to be open for another 15 minutes after that because Lori's coming down.
Gotcha.
Lori's bringing up.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we are crossing paths.
Excellent. Sooner than we thought.
I know, I didn't expect you to hear.
Let's bump this right?
Hey there, how are you?
Good, how are you? Is everybody in?
No, this is me.
Okay, so if y'all listen up for a second, feel free to take pictures. Let me introduce you briefly to Mr. Ed Van Sice. He'll tell you. Yeah, see, now you know.
With an underscore, carbon underscore.
There you go. He's one of our illustrious flight directors. These stories turn out. One of our illustrious flight directors, and the best if I have mine today.
Oh,
So I'll let Ed tell you about the room a little bit.
let's see. First, everybody checked in on Foursquare? Hello. Get your nasty bed. Let's see, like Amy said, my name is Ed Van Sice. I'm one of the flight directors here. I'm certified for space station, so I live and work in the room in front of you. But, that's not the big reason that, well, probably not the big reason you're here, but the whole event that we're doing is regarding MSL and Curiosity. So I thought I'd first start out, you guys may have covered this already, but Johnson Space Center has actually played a role in Curiosity's landing, and it's going to be actually a major part of what's going to happen on Monday. And we're all excited now that we're within a million kilometers, but y'all have seen the 7 minutes of terror video on YouTube a bunch of times, I'm sure. Right, oh, very good. So there's this one part where the spacecraft is still all together. It's going through the upper atmosphere of Mars. The heat shield's getting all heated up, and then you see all these little white thruster firings, right, as it's trying to orient itself. Well, those thruster firings, and actually the hypersonic, let me get those words right, hypersonic entry guidance. So all those thruster firings and getting it precisely pointed, that was actually designed here at the Johnson Space Center by folks here in Mission Operations. And they actually worked with the folks out at JPL to do the coding of that software. They're out at JPL, and they're going to be helping out with anything that they might need to be involved with as far as entry, descent, and landing. So we're very excited here about watching the landing and hoping, of course, that it all goes well. And the reason that we're involved in that is, of course, Space Shuttle had to do hypersonic entry through the atmosphere 133 times. And so we have a lot of expertise with that, and we used our folks that have that expertise to participate in the Curiosity landing. So it's a great partnership across all the different field centers. But back to here, so what you're looking at, well, are there any, I can't really answer a whole lot of questions. It's not my expertise, but any questions on that? All right, sweet. Back to my expertise here, I was looking at the flight control room for the International Space Station. One of 5, there's other control rooms. There's one in Huntsville that manages all the payloads that are done on the space station, on the U.S. Part of the space station. There's one in Moscow, they control the Russian segment of the space station. One in outside Munich for the European laboratory, one in Tsukuba, Japan for the Japanese laboratory. And then the Canadians have a control room in Montreal to assist with robotics operations. They have some big pieces on the space station as well, a couple robot arms, and then the mobile transporter. But all that funnels into this room. The control room here is responsible for the U.S., we call it the U.S. segment, but all the U.S. portions of the space station, all of its operations, all of its maintenance, anything that has to do with the U.S. Part of the space station. But then we also are responsible for the entire spacecraft as a whole. So the top level command and control authority for the space station as a whole is also here in Houston. So the flight director is responsible for all the decisions, all the planning, all of the real-time execution of the mission as it's going on, not only for the U.S. segment, but then for the entire spacecraft. All the other control centers I mentioned also have their version of a flight director, and we keep in contact with them with the, you see on the side of their big PC displays there, they've got little black boxes that, those are touch screens, and we plug our headsets into those, and we can talk to all the different centers and all the different control centers as we need to. I just picked up a great analogy that helps me explain what the other folks in this room do. And basically everybody else in this room is a subsystem expert on various pieces of the space station. And so you've got somebody that's responsible for power, somebody that's responsible for life support, somebody that's responsible for planning, somebody that's responsible for all of the, we've got over 150 laptops on board the space station. So you need somebody to manage all of those systems, keep them up and running, kind of your, if you needed a geek squad, that would be the Pluto complex. They also manage the wireless networks. We've got several wireless networks on board, so we've got all that equipment. We have several virtual LANs on board. They manage all that. As you can imagine, it's a pretty intensive job. We need to know not only how we're pointed in space, that would be our attitude, and that's what the ADCO does, but we also need to know where we are in space, altitude and position, and that would be the topo and trajectory officer. So he's the guy that watches and talks to the Air Force and makes sure we don't run into any debris, make sure no debris runs into us, that sort of thing. Our RIO is our remote interfaces officer. They talk to all the other international partners, and then of course most of the folks in here are watching the various systems on the space station. And honestly, I could go on and on and on. I obviously love my job just like everybody else that you come across that works here at the center and the agency. I could talk for hours about this room, but I think it's more important for you guys to be able to ask questions, so I'll try to, when we do that.
Is there a primary backup site where you'll have to evacuate for some reason, a hurricane or something? Or?
Yeah, we actually have a bunch of different backup methods. So first, we're in here 24/7, 365, but the room obviously can have problems sometimes, or they might need to change a light bulb in the ceiling or whatever. So we have another room in the complex here that we can go to support station operations. Sometimes it's the White Vicar, which is the old shuttle flight control room, and that's what's on that TV screen up there. We can go down there, or we can go to our training flight control room. We have a separate control room for training space station flight controllers because we're in here all the time. So that's one layer. For hurricanes like Ernesto, hopefully not, we